summer solstice is Friday, June 20th, so you know what that means. We're sharing the romance books releasing this summer that are on our ever-growing TBR lists. Welcome to Reader Seeks Romance Channel's Romance Roundup, the #1 romance book recs talk show. I am Liz Donatelli.
And I'm Libby K, author of the new release, When Sparks Fly, out now from Spell Publishing.
Watch Romance Roundup on Reader Seeks Romance Channel, and like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. Listen to Romance Roundup on PodBean and all podcast apps, and leave us a review. And follow us on Instagram, at Libby K Author and at Reader Seeks Romance. Hello, Libby.
Hello, Liz. We're getting ready for summer, baby. I'm excited.
I'm so excited!
We usually have a vacation planned by now, and we haven't yet. So, it doesn't feel like summer's really close because this is the first year in ages we're not ready.
So I'm excited for the summer, but I don't feel prepared. My life might not be prepared for summer, but my TBR list is. Libby, let the roundup begin.
Giddy up, Liz. Here we go. My first one on my summer TBR is a book I didn't know existed a week ago. And now I am literally counting down the days for when this book comes out. So my first one is Caught Up by Nevessa Allen. And this comes out June 10th. This is the second book in the Into the Darkness series. The first book, Lights Out, was recommended by a friend of the show, Nikki from Gramercy Books, for both of us. And last week I was going through it a little and I thought, I feel like reading something totally different. And so I read in about 2.5 days, much to the chagrin of my deadline, Lights Out, devoured it, absolutely obsessed. And so I am living for June 10th so I can continue this saga because what a saga it's been.
We're going to have to do a whole segment on another episode about Lights Out once I have finished reading it. You see, audience, it did start out kind of as a buddy read where I was like, hey, what page are you on? And then I read and I caught up. So I think you were on chapter 4. I caught up. Yeah. And then I was like, trying to figure out the parameters of the buddy read, but it didn't matter because every few minutes I was told by Libby, okay, I read another few chapters. I was like, forget it, I'm out. You just go for it. Forget it. I figured it would be kind of like, we'd read up to a certain point, we'd discuss, we'd discuss, but there's no stopping Libby when she just connects with the book.
I'm telling you, I won't go into much now because I want you to read it and then we'll do a real discussion. There was a point around the time that you and I stopped the buddy read that I thought, this is not for me. It's too something. And then, I don't know, I just kept picking it up. And next thing I know, I'm like, well, I only got 100 pages left. I only got 10 pages left. Oops, I'm done. So.
And what's interesting, as soon as I started reading it, I was like, oh, this is the book for me. But you seemed on the fence. And I was like, oh, okay, this book is kind of going in the direction I was thinking it might. And so I look forward to finishing it. We have to have a discussion, even if I don't end up liking the book on a whole. I still think we should discuss it because it's a book that a lot of people are talking about.
Yes. And I just had lunch with a friend over my lunch break today and I mentioned it and she's like, oh my God, everybody I know is talking about that book. So, and that's another person I wouldn't have thought would have read the book. So it's like, all right, everybody's reading it.
Yeah. Stay tuned for our Lights Out by Nevessa Allen discussion.
So I'll give the general premise for the second book. The tropes for Caught Up are listed as dark romance, and that's going to be an understatement. It's a mob romance, and it's a bit of a reunion romance, and you'll understand that in a moment as I go over the general premise. Oh, and I must say, at the end of the disclaimer of this one, it basically says, holy trigger warnings, Batman, because there are 1,000,001 trigger warnings. So it is not for the faint of heart, and I usually am put off by those trigger warnings. But again, much like Butcher and Blackbird, I was like, giddy up, let's see what's going on here. So the general premise is Nico Jr. Trochki knows Lauren Marchetti is off limits. She is sweetness and laughter, where Junior exists in a world of violence and depravity. Again, trigger warnings. Men like him are not allowed to have women like her, and it's why he pushed her away back in high school and has kept his distance ever since. That's the reunion part.
Ooh.
But when Junior looks Lauren up online and discovers that the shy, bookish girl he remembers is gone, and in her place is a strikingly beautiful woman whose social media is filled with her scantily clad pictures of, and he finds that she has connections to a nearby club that he likes to frequent. Wink, wink.
I don't think I've ever heard of like, shy, bookish girl turning into some kind of sexy siren.
Right?
You
Like this is
know?
totally, I was not expecting this. I was expecting when I read the first part of the description, it was just going to be like, and she's a librarian or something.
Right, right. Oh, I am intrigued. Carry on.
Okay. So he is going to her club, and what starts as innocent curiosity quickly turns into dark obsession. Watching Lauren from a distance isn't enough, and he needs to make her his. Again, totally not usually a Libby book, but I am foaming at the mouth. I need this book in my life. Lauren is intrigued by the mystery man who keeps showing up at her club and who tempts her white hot desires. But as their flirty online messages stir up a deeper form of connection, Lauren worries that she is developing real feelings for this brooding stranger. As their combined desire ratchets up to breaking point, who will seduce who, and will they survive the fall? So again, trigger warnings galore. This is, if it's anything like Lights Out, it's going to be dark and sexy and fun. I'm hoping there will be a few moments of humor and levity because there was that in Lights Out. This being dark romance is one of the biggest trends going right now, and I did not think I would embrace any of it at all, let alone to the point where I've pre-ordered this book and like have it marked on my calendar. And it's definitely filling the void left behind by the Butcher and Blackbird trilogy, because obviously I really like that one too.
Yeah.
I'm really excited, and I think I've used Lights Out as a bit of a palate cleanser, which is a funny thing to say about a very graphic book. But I felt like I was kind of on a rom-com kick, and it's like, you know what? I need to like, just have a little bit of a break from the sweet and funny. So yeah, so I'm excited for Caught Up by Nevessa Allen, and that comes out on June 10th.
Excellent.
So what is your first TBR pick for summer?
Well, it is a book by an author I've mentioned before. We're both fans. Logan Sage Adams has a new historical romance, Resilience on Canvas, releasing on July 24th. And Resilience on Canvas is set during apparently one of Libby's favorite times in American history, which is the 1930s, the Dust Bowl.
The Dust Bowl, yeah. I studied it a little bit in college, and then the Ken Burns documentary really got me excited. So the title, I just thought was fantastic.
Yeah,
I don't know, there's just something about it, like you say it and you're like, ooh.
It sounds sophisticated.
It does.
Resilience on Canvas is set in 1935. It is a heartfelt male-male historical romance that explores the importance of family and friendship, the power in finding one's inner strength, and the endurance of the human spirit. Here's the book description. Robert Davis, a prideful man with a fiery temper, has been taking care of his family and their farm since long before the onset of the Great Depression. When the once fertile land of Guyman, Oklahoma begins blowing away, Robert knows he has to lighten his burdens somehow. Desperate, he tries to marry his sister off to the son of one of the most fortunate families in town, Henry Sherwood, a bashful shop clerk in the town's largest corner store. Henry has eyes for Robert ever since he and his family first moved to the Oklahoma Panhandle. Everything about this sounds so gritty,
I know. I'm so excited. It feels like it's going to be like sepia toned.
Yes, I'm going to put myself in sepia tone. Maybe even a little bit of a Western music vibe or some kind of
And have like a little tumbleweed or something going by the bottom of the screen.
Yeah. Okay. I'm digging it. All right. The mood is now set. Despite his proclivities, Henry agrees to marry Robert's sister, if only so that he might please his parents. But when a black blizzard rolls through, the men are forced to seek shelter, forced proximity. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
During the storm, the two strike up a friendship, and over the coming weeks, it transforms into something more. Now, I looked up what a black blizzard is, and it's dust. So it's like, oh, you knew what a black blizzard is?
Just because I'm a big old history nerd.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, it's so much that it blocks out the sun, right? Like it's like instead of a whiteout, it's like that kind of vibe.
Yeah, which is frightening, honestly.
Mm.
Like more so to me than a blizzard.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
ice or snow melts eventually, but you're just gonna have a bunch of grit and dust
Yeah.
and dirt, and it's yeah.
I'm very excited for Resilience on Canvas by Logan Sage Adams because Logan is a master storyteller. We went from dark romance to a black blizzard. What's next, Libby?
Well, I'm gonna mix it up even more. We're doing a contemporary romance set in a law firm.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. But no, it's exciting. I'm excited because it's Overruled by Lana Ferguson, one of my current favorite obsessions with my authors right now. This comes out July 1st from Berkeley, and it is a standalone. I know as I've waxed poetic before about Lana Ferguson's books, she seems to alternate between paranormal and contemporary, and this is a contemporary. I don't think there's any Paws or Loch Ness monsters or anything. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but for this one, there won't be. And it's listed as an enemies to lovers / rivals to lovers workplace romance for the tropes. So again, we're hitting some of the big ones. And the tagline is two divorce lawyers determined to share only beds, but not hearts, discover that love is something that can't be overruled.
I'm not sure if I heard it correctly. Are they divorced lawyers or are they divorced?
They are divorce lawyers, as in they work with people who are getting divorces.
Okay, so they are divorce lawyers, not divorced lawyers.
Correct. Well, they might be divorced themselves, but that doesn't come up in the description.
Because I thought I was interpreting what you said as they were together and they're lawyers and now they're divorced, like they were previously married.
Oh, no. They are both divorce lawyers, which we have a divorce lawyer in one of our book clubs. And I thought of her when I read this blurb because she seemed, not to jinx anything for her, but she seems happily married. So it's always funny, like in real life, when you meet a divorce lawyer and they're just like a very happy person who likes their partner.
Yes, you were right.
So we have two lawyers. And so here is the back of the book blurb. So Danica Pierce has one great love in her life, and that's work.
I feel like you're losing me already on this one.
Danica Pierce likes her job. And as one of the top divorce lawyers in Austin, Texas, Danica lets her caseload keep her warm at night and has no problem being married to her job. Not when love can only hurt. So obviously we're setting up that something happened here. When the biggest case of her career gets her a shot at making partner, it seems like nothing could possibly stand in her way, except for her infuriating secret that she's sleeping with the enemy. Ezra Hart is known for charming his way in and out of a courtroom. In the matter of winning Danica Pierce's heart, however, he's far less successful. With her verdict, that's the other thing about this description that I didn't rewrite. It's filled with legal puns. And I'm like, I'm just going to go with it. I'm not going to try to rewrite it. So I will say, full disclosure, it's only going to get cheesier, but I don't mind.
Okay. All right.
With her verdict to keep things purely physical with no chance of appeal, Ezra struggles to show Danica he's more than the insufferable playboy she's pegged him to be, especially since they find themselves on opposing sides of Danica's most important case to date. When Danny and Ezra battle it out in the courtroom, the real trial is the one happening between them. When Danny realizes that everything she knows of Ezra might be hearsay, and that she's not the only one with emotional baggage, she must choose between her fear of trusting again and the feelings blossoming between her and the man she thought was her worst enemy. So I am hooked. I have thoroughly enjoyed all of Lana Ferguson's books. They are perfectly sexy, as in the sex scenes are steamy, but they have a place. It's not just gratuitous. She has great character development. The pacing's tight. So I am excited that this one doesn't have any magical realism or paranormal elements, just because that's not what I'm feeling right now. And I haven't read anything with two lawyers in a while, so I feel like that's going to kind of seem fresh. And again, I like the dynamic of people who work in divorce falling in love and all that stuff. So I am cautiously optimistic for this one. Knock wood, she hasn't let me down yet. So I am excited to read Overruled by Lana Ferguson, which comes out July 1st from Berkeley. You might say it's on my docket.
Wah, wah, wah. Well, I must say that this will not be going on my TBR.
Nope.
It's funny. I've actually, even for books I'm not reading or prepping for the show, I do have in the back of my mind, is this a Liz book or a not a Liz book? This one was not a Liz book. I
It is
expect to be
not.
not Buddy reading this with you.
Yeah, no. I came across that title during my research. And yeah, it wasn't my jam.
No, that's totally cool.
Yeah.
It's all about balance. We're just balancing each other out here. If we like the same things, it would be boring.
That's true. That's true.
So we've had lawyers, we've had the Dust Bowl. Where are you taking us, Liz?
I'm taking you to a book that I feel like might, because you have one more title left, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I feel like this title might be your third book.
Ooh, I'm like all tingly. I'm so excited. What is it?
Yeah. Slow Burn Summer by Josie Silver.
No, that was one I was considering, but at the last minute, I changed it to the one I'm going to do. So yeah, no, I did not pick that.
Slow Burn Summer releases on June 10th. And here's the little blurb, and then I'm going to go into the description. A talent agent hires an actress to play the part of novelist on a book tour for his agency's publicity-shy client in this delightful rom-com. She's playing the part of romance author, but has she found her own real-life love story? Talent agent Charlie Francisco has 3 problems: a divorce that ended his screenwriting career, a business he never planned to inherit, and a take-your-breath-away romance novel whose author wants nothing to do with its publication. The book is a surefire hit if only his agency can find someone to play the author on its summer book tour. Enter Kate Elliott, a former soap actress who's miraculously right for the part at the very moment her life seems to be going all wrong. She agrees to the pretense for interviews, signings, and appearances surrounding the novel's publication, but she can't know who really wrote the remarkable story, the one so beautiful it's made her believe in love again. When Kate and Charlie meet, they're all friction and sparks. The one thing they have in common is they're determined to play their respective parts. But as the summer heats up and the lies get bigger and bigger, can they stick to their lines or will they go off script?
Ooh la la.
Ooh, very theatrical. I like it.
Thank you. Now, not to I don't know if this is a spoiler or not. I don't know what's in this book. It intrigues me because I used to be a huge soap opera fan in my younger days. So when I see soap opera, I think that maybe that's really conducive to a lot of high comedy, figuring someone who's used to the melodrama of a soap opera set might go really overboard in the role of an author. So that to me sounds promising from a comedic standpoint. I thought it was interesting. It says she can't know who really wrote the story. I predict he wrote it. I predict that the agent wrote it.
Otherwise, why? I mean, again, I don't know. This is just pure speculation. I'll actually be disappointed if he doesn't write it because then you're adding someone else into the mix and it's like,
right. So what I think maybe they shouldn't have put that line in because that kind of to me is a red flag, like, oh, it's a mystery who wrote it. Well, what would be an interesting twist is that he wrote it and she loves this book. So now she's going to fall in love with him. You know what? I don't think I need to read this book anymore. Maybe I should just remove it off my TBR. So I guess I'm excited to read Slow Burn Summer by Josie Silver, releasing June 10th.
I agree. I like the soap opera element. When you say soap opera and you talk about like shenanigans, I grew up on like Luke and Laura General Hospital.
Don't even. General Hospital was my #1 favorite soap opera. You don't understand. I even bought Soap Opera Digest at the grocery store.
Yes. My mom had the hots for Tristan Rogers, who played Robert Scorpio.
Oh my God. Did I ever tell you that I went to church with the actor who played his brother, Mac Scorpio?
Shut up. Wasn't he Australian?
Yes.
What was his name?
Mac Scorpio was played by actor John J. York. Okay. And he went to my Catholic church in Los Angeles. John J. York went to my Catholic church, and there was a few times he sat in back of me, and the whole time I'm like, oh my God, Max Scorpio's behind me. And when it's time for people who might not be familiar in the Catholic Church before the pandemic, there's a time during the Mass where you shake hands and you wish each other peace. And you say, peace be with you. And I think I just kept my head down. Like, I don't even think I actually shook his hand. If I did, I kept my hand down and my head down. I wouldn't really look at him. But my husband didn't know who he was. So it was like shaking his hand just heartily. And as we were walking out of church, he was like talking to my husband about something. And I was like, I'm not going to look. This is Max Scorpio. I'm so nervous. He aged really well.
I just Googled him, and I am not disappointed.
I probably should have struck up a conversation. It was a missed opportunity. Now I live in Ohio where I don't meet anybody famous.
Sorry.
all my stories will end with, and now I live in Ohio, and it's all gone to hell. If Josie Silver did her homework and is authentically a soap opera fan, then I think this has a lot of promise to be a genuine rom-com.
Yes. And actually, I would prefer to read something a little, I don't want to say funnier, because I don't think of her as humor or as a funny author per se, but I feel like the last ones have had such heavy moments. It'd be nice if it had a little bit of lightheartedness.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. I guess I'll read it, even though I think I might have figured it out.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I am intrigued and so curious.
Yes.
What is your third TBR summer 2025 pick?
I'm very excited to read Totally and Completely Fine by Alyssa Sussman, and this comes out on July 8th. This is listed as a standalone, but it is in the same universe and has overlapping characters from Funny You Should Ask, which was her debut from a couple years ago, which I think might have been one of my early best of picks when we started the show, but I don't know if it made the actual final list for me. But anyway, I love her. She does, much like Ava Wilder, very good celebrity normie romances. This is also listed as a single mom and small town romance. So in her small Montana hometown, Lauren Parker has assumed a few different roles: teenage hellraiser, sister of superstar Gabe Parker, and most recently, tragically widowed single mother. She's never cared much for labels or what people think about her, but dealing with her grief has slowly revealed that she's becoming adrift in her own life. Then she meets the devilishly handsome actor Ben Walsh on the set of her brother's new movie. They have an instant chemistry, and Lauren realizes that it has been far too long since someone has really and truly seen her. Her rebellious spirit spurs her to dive headfirst into her desires, and when a sexy encounter becomes something more, Lauren finds herself balancing old rules and new possibilities. There's still plenty to contend with: small town rumors, the complication of Ben's fame, her daughter's unpredictable moods. An unexpected fling seems simple at the time, so when did everything with Ben get so complicated? And is there enough room in her life for the woman Lauren wants to be? The book alternates between Lauren's past with Spencer and her present with Ben, which is very intriguing to me, that instead of just flashbacks, it's going to be full POV swaps to the late husband. Totally and Completely Fine illuminates what it means to find life-changing love and be true to oneself in the process. It sounds a little heavy, but I really, really like Sussman's writing. I loved, this Montana town played a role in her first book, Funny You Should Ask. So I'm glad that we're returning there. Her other book, Once More with Feeling, I don't believe has any characters that are going to overlap, but I loved that book just as much. How she handles the celebrity normie relationships, just very well written, very three-dimensional. They feel like real people. She has really good pop culture references. She handles like celebrity culture well, but she also obviously makes up a couple things because she's not using real people. But she manages to handle difficult situations with humor a lot of the time, and I'm excited to see how she spins that for Lauren's background. So, and I know a friend of ours from book club just read an arc of this and loved it. So that kind of solidified this being one of my top 3 must reads for the summer.
Right. As did author Kerry Winfrey, who's in our book club. She said that she received an arc and really enjoyed it. Chances are high that you will enjoy this book.
Yes, so I am very psyched to read Totally and Completely Fine by Alyssa Sussman. And again, that comes out July 8th from Dell. Okay, so we have Dust Bowl storekeepers, corporate divorce lawyers, celebrities. Who else do we have to read about, Liz?
We have a guest at the Love Hotel.
Ooh, is this like one of those old cheesy hotels with like the heart-shaped beds?
That's what it sounds like. I don't know. I'm excited to read Too Hard to Resist, a super hot summer romance set in Italy from Olivia Spring.
Ooh.
And for those who are fans of our show, know I love Olivia Spring. In our last episode, I talked about The Love Librarian. I've also loved The Romance Library and The Match Faker. This is book 3 in the Love Hotel series. It comes out June 8th by Boldwood Books. Here is the description of Too Hard to Resist. Welcome to the Love Hotel. Check in for a hilarious and spicy opposites attract summer romance set in a matchmaking hotel in Italy. A matchmaking hotel in Italy. That's what grabbed me. Now, I have not read the other 2 books. Why did I decide to read book 3 instead of book 2? Why am I going backwards? Because I'm shaking things up.
Hey, there's no rules here.
So here are the tropes. Opposites attract, forbidden romance between staff and hotel guest, banter to banging.
Is that yours or is that from the publisher?
Oh, these are all from the publisher.
Hell yeah.
Although I assume Olivia wrote this for them. But banter to banging. I think that might have been on one of her other books. It sounds slightly familiar. So it's like banter leads to the banging, I guess, right?
I mean, that's how I'm interpreting it.
Okay. I just want to make sure that I understood correctly. Okay. Forced proximity, grumpy sunshine, matchmaking, and spicy.
Ooh.
Yes. Sparks fly, but with the wrong guy. Sammy Gordon knows of the Love Hotel's infamous reputation for making happy ever afters a reality. So when Sammy gets her coveted invite to the hotel's exclusive resort in Italy, she's packed her bags before she's signed on the dotted line. What could be more perfect than sun, sea, culture, and her perfect match? After Sammy's disastrous date, love alchemist Romeo. Now, I don't know if it's called a love alchemist Romeo or it's a love alchemist named Romeo. But anyway, they have...
I'm guessing love alchemist named Romeo?
That's what I was thinking. So they have love alchemists who must figure out like what the chemistry, like based on perhaps their applications to stay at the hotel. I don't know. Like I probably should have read the first 2 books, but but I don't know. For some reason, I love reading backwards. Anyway.
No, I've done that too. Sometimes it's almost more satisfying.
Yes, I agree. The love alchemist Romeo steps in to keep Sammy company on all of the planned dates and intimate dinners, in a professional capacity, of course. When sparks fly instantly, Romeo knows he's in trouble. With a strict no dating guest rule, Romeo has to try and keep things professional, but like magnets, Sammy and Romeo are drawn to each other. Their chemistry is forbidden, and so they must, at all costs, resist the temptation to cross the line.
Ooh.
I don't know why, but I keep thinking of The Love Boat. As a kid, I loved The Love Boat. So I love the idea of there being a vacation destination or a voyage that brings people together in romantic love. So I think that's why. And Olivia is so good at creating these worlds. There's the love library world on Sunshine Bay Island, and then you've got the Love Hotel, and it looks as if they've expanded to Italy, unless they're all in Italy. It made it sound like this was like an exclusive one in Italy.
Is it like White Lotus and every book's a different location?
That would be awesome. If they are all in Italy, then maybe she should start putting them in different locations, like White Lotus style. So I'm super excited to read Too Hard to Resist by Olivia Spring, which releases June 8th. and that is book 3 in the Love Hotel series.
I am certainly intrigued, and I have 2 of her books now because every time you recommend one, I get one, and I haven't read them yet. So I'm going to move her further up the list. Damn it.
Yes, you have to get on that.
Liz, do you have any honorable mentions that didn't make it to the list?
Actually, this is only an honorable mention because the full description of the book is not available. So I've kind of just added it as an honorable mention, but I'm definitely going to read it.
Ooh, what is it?
Book 6 in Ursa Dax's Cowboy Colony Mail Order Brides series, and it's called Rescued by the Alien Bull Rider.
An alien bull rider?
Yes. I didn't realize that these books are released under Ursa's imprint, which is called Peace Weaver Press. So I wanted to make sure I get that out there.
That's a nice name.
Yeah. And this is coming out on July 15th. I love this series forever and always, and I hope it ends up being like a 50-book series because in one of the most recent books I read, the universe has expanded a little bit.
Oh.
Like not the literal universe, the universe of the book.
As in like they've explored more, not like cosmic shifts in time and space.
Right. I mean, it is sci-fi, but there's another group of cowboy aliens looking for mail order brides. So we're meeting like another camp of people looking hungry for more human women, and not hungry in the cannibal sense. I should make that known.
Sorry.
Like, thirsty for human women. I don't know. I'm losing it fast here. And that's our roundup. Watch Romance Roundup on Reader Seeks Romance channel, and like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. Listen to Romance Roundup on PodBean and all podcast apps. And don't forget to leave us a review. Thanks for joining us, romance readers.
Happy reading, everyone.